Welcome everyone to our webinar on business process automation on Microsoft 365 Teams and SharePoint. My name is Scott Restivo. I am the CEO, President of Crow Software. We've been around over 20 years. We've done collaboration on top of the Microsoft platforms. We started out with the Outlook public folders and all that way back when. Got into SharePoint in the 2000s and Office 365 over the last 10 years or so. And we've been building applications and our NITRO Studio, we'll go in to show you that, and all the other things we've been doing inside of the Microsoft collaboration spaces. We have customers all over the world. We are a Microsoft preferred partner of business applications, always been working closely with Microsoft for many years. We're a California certified small business. We're on the GSA for the federal government. So we're well established in the software world. We work with government, education, finance, legal. It's hard to name all the industries. It's just about every industry out there we're in, and we're also many countries throughout the world selling and supporting and our software. So we have a main headquarters in California, and we have an office in Rhode Island, South Carolina. We have a group in India. We have a small office in Australia. There's a lot going on here. It's pretty exciting. What we do here is we drive business process automation. That's what we'll be talking about today. We're helping businesses become more successful and improve productivity and do their operations more efficiently. So maybe some of you on this call are customers are seeing that already. We have our business applications. We have our NITRO Studio, which is a forms and workflow platform that you can build your own solutions. And we have our chatbots and apps for Microsoft Teams, which is not that new area, but it's just getting adopted more and more as people move more and more in the Teams direction, which was certainly accelerated by the whole COVID situation. So a lot going on here, and we'll be showing you some of that during this webinar. I think you'll find it quite interesting and exciting. Our products run in the Office 365, or some people call it Microsoft 365. It's back and forth, same thing. And that includes also not only the commercial cloud, the commercial Office 365, but also the GCC, the government cloud, and now the GCC High, which is quite significant because that's a highly secure environment. So it shows that our programs and our NITRO Studio are very well qualified and secure for those kind of environments. We also run in SharePoint on-premises 2013, 2016, 2019, and the new one coming out called SE, which is short for subscription edition. That will be out. I think it's out already in some fashion. It'll be out more later this year for people on premises. We have great solutions for them also for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about business process automation using Office 365 Teams and SharePoint. As I was mentioning earlier, we have these three areas: business applications, our NITRO Studio platform, our bots for Teams. All this drives business process automation forward. Now, in business process automation, there's a lot of challenges. This is what we face and been talking to people about for over 20 years and helping them find solutions. And this is just a short list of the many kinds of business process challenges you have in the different departments. It could be in different industries. Everybody's got the same kind of situation where there's maybe an IT trouble tickets, facilities, they have to fix and move things and manage equipment, administration, there's keeping documentation up to date. There's human resources, a very active area of onboarding, leave requests, benefit changes, purchasing. So, everybody, and don't feel alone, everybody and doing anything in the business is dealing with business process automation issues. And we basically look at 5 types of BPA. One we could call incident management, where there's a break fix and something needs to be fixed right away. We call that like service desk, help desk. It could be a complaint from customers, anything that needs to be fixed and needs immediate attention. And that's something that, our program allows through the notifications and the alerts and the processes that are in there. There's requests, which are somebody asks for something, to be kind of vague there, but that's basically what we're talking about. It could be a leave request, a change, a purchase, any kind of thing like that, and there's a process that needs to go through to fulfill it. So it's not like incident management, which is kind of like immediate attention. This is more like the request is put in, maybe goes through an approval process, then there's some fulfillment process in it. So it's more of a process that has steps to it than an incident, which is more break fix. There's quality control and change management, which is where you identify a problem, find the root cause, look at what can be done to correct it, and then implement processes in order to fix it. And that, therefore, your organization will work better because you've solved this problem. There's tracking and maintaining assets and equipment. You got to know where your stuff is, where it's being used, if it needs any maintenance, if its effective life is ended, if it's getting outdated, needs replacing, all that kind of stuff. And that's another type of business process automation. So you keep everybody running efficiently and organized, and the whole system's working well. Of course, our assets, whether it's IT assets or general equipment, all that's very vital to the whatever work we're doing. And then there's document management, creating, revising, distributing, and policies, procedures, any kind of documentation like that. Now, this webinar is not meant to be a deep dive into BPA in that respect, going into all those 5 types. We've done other webinars where we dug into the particular ways to work with each one of those. This webinar is more about showing you what we have. So we'll get to that very soon. There's just one other things we want to say here that it's good you came to this webinar, because now you're looking at how to improve processes. Maybe they're outdated, legacy. Well, you can save time. Hey, what's the value of it? Well, save time, streamline processes, get quicker responses, better services, reduce costs, eliminate waste, more accountability and control. All these things we probably all well know. And the thing is, like, how do we put it into place? And what's the inspiration for it? Well, we've changed the name from business process automation. You see here it goes to business. Oh, that's supposed to be business profit acceleration. Somebody, I have to talk to our marketing person, but who put this slide, but it's supposed to be business profit acceleration. So business process automation equals business profit acceleration. Kind of getting fancy with the words there, but by reducing costs and streamlining operations, business see increased productivity, better use of resources, happier customers equal in profit. So just read that, please, as business profit acceleration. That was the trick here. Anyway, the point here is that if you need any kind of agreement or support from management, or if you're in management itself, there's very good reasons to be looking at this and what Crow Canyon's doing to accelerate and drive business process automation, and therefore business profit acceleration forward. And we'll get right into some of the things that we have going on. And it's really an exciting field. A lot we've been doing. It's always changing, you know, as Microsoft changes what it's doing and the world changes, you know, like the move to mobile and cloud, the use of Teams now. You know, a lot of these systems get outdated very quickly. One big thing we do a lot is replace legacy systems like InfoPath with our NITRO Studios, forms and workflows. We replace outdated, inefficient, help desk or purchase system. A lot of people are purchasing on Excel or using email for these kind of things. And we always see great improvements and great satisfaction, and people are surprised they never made that step earlier. Sometimes it's a financial thing, but it's much more beneficial to put the software in place and derive the benefits from it. And then you see that the cost of it is really minimal compared to the amount of benefits you get out of it. So let's see, the last slide here is about upcoming workshops. Yeah, you can find stuff on our website about everything going on Crow Canyon software. We have these, upcoming, slow down here, webinars, workshops, in-person events. Believe it or not, there's one in-person event next week. I'm actually going up there to Seattle for this, what they call it, 365 EduCon now. Used to be at SharePoint Fest. So we'll be going there next week. I'm going on next Tuesday, flying up to Seattle. And we'll have the booth there on Wednesday and Thursday. First business trip I've done in like 2 years. I've been on other small trips here and there on my own, but first time on a business trip, first show we're going to in 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And anyone's there in the Seattle area going to that, come on up to our booth and say hi, talk a bit, and see what's going on. So there's another one in Chicago. It's not listed here, but that's out in September. So let's just jump right into it. You know what I thought I'd do that'd be kind of interesting is just go right into the bots. And the reason for that is because a lot of times I save the bots to the end, and then what happens is that they get shortchanged. So I'm going to jump into that right away. Like I said, we have applications, we have our NITRO Studio, and I think showing the bots will kind of help tie it all together. Of course, this is for Office 365. if you're on premises, a lot of the back end stuff will apply. What you're looking at right here is a purchase request system, and there's purchases going on here. So all this will show up on premises, and you can use it that way. But I'm going to show the bot so that it isn't like, kind of stuck at the end and then, diminished, because I think it's really interesting. It's a really good way forward, and I'm finding more and more interest. It's not like mainstream yet, you'd say, but we're getting more and more interested. And we started development on it about 3 years ago, and we knew we were going to get ahead of the curve and get a lot of experience and some customers under our belt who are using it, so that we can, when it does go mainstream, then we are in a good shape to help out organizations who want to move in that direction. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a purchase request system. Okay, you can look at the back end SharePoint. Somebody come in, create a new purchase request here. That's okay. But people are not really going to the back end SharePoint, especially in Office 365. What they're looking at more is to come into some other way to create it. Now, if you're in incident management, you can send in emails, and email synchronization will say, hey, I got a problem, printer's broken, I need to fix it. And that can be converted to a ticket. They can go to a portal. They can even text to the help desk these days and get a ticket going. Well, let's have different options for purchase requests. Well, one thing that's really exciting, you can be in Teams, and you go here. This is a Nitro Bot, and this could be in a shrunk down little screen like your mobile phone, or it could be on a desktop. And you have this bot running in Teams. Here's Teams. It's on the side here, bot. You install it into your Teams. We won't go into that right now, but it's fairly straightforward. And we can always discuss this one-on-one with anyone. And so here we have this Nitro Bot running. So what's going to happen here? Well, this person already made this AA up here, administrative account, already made some purchases, and you can see them listed right here. You look at one of them. It's 2 printers for accounting, and this one will be listed in the bot. So they don't even have to know about the back-end SharePoint. They can look right here in the bot and see that there is a submitted, priority, approved, all this. They can click here if they want to go to it and add a comment. Well, this same request is sitting right here in the back end, 2 printers for accounting. It's the same thing if they're seeing it from 2 different places. So from the team's perspective, the bot perspective, this user is looking at this request and saying, okay, it was approved and all that. But now the person wants to make a new purchase, a new request. So I just type in a new purchase, right? This is just, makes it easy for users on Teams, on a mobile device, whatever, to create a new request. So the form comes up, they can type in something like, let's say, what did I say, 2 printers? Let's go 2 more printers for IT, whatever you want to put in there, type of purchase, let's call it hardware, normal. Of course, this can all be set up, configured in the back end how you want, depending on your particular situation. We find purchasing is kind of interesting because it's different for every department. I mean, every organization, even every department sometimes, but most of the time, every organization has slightly different ways they're doing it. So, if you had different things you want to list here, we could do that. But basically, the principle is the same. It's making a purchase of something. So they're going to submit it. It's going to go, the purchase system know who needs to approve it. So it's just going to say it's submitted, created successfully. And if you look at our back-end SharePoint, it's been put in place here. 2 more printers right here. See, it just came in. So any workflow that's running on the back-end SharePoint runs right here. It could be like notify somebody that there's a new purchase request, or send a text, send a message, send an email, send a Teams message, whatever, that this has been, there's a purchase request that came in. Now, of course, this could be a leave request. It could be any kind of request, but just showing this. Now, I have another browser entirely up here called James's. James is the approver. And so you can see here that he, as the approver, knows that he's the one who has to approve this request for new purchase. It came into his bot, and he could be anywhere on any device, but he gets this message here. See, this whole different browser that's logged in as JR. Gets I have 2 different browsers up to show you the 2 different users. So this one, he got a message saying, oh, somebody wants, purchase request, 2 more printers. Do I approve it or not? I can click here and see it in the backend SharePoint if I wish. I can approve it, I can deny it, I can send back. So let's go ahead and approve this as James. And you put some comment in like, okay, you know, whatever, if they want to. And then goes ahead and approves it. And the approval happens. It's been approved. So we'll move James out of the way momentarily over to the other screen. And then we'll refresh this and see if it got approval. See, it's been approved now, right? Now, all this is happening from the user's perspective in the bot, in Teams, really. And they're getting this purchase moved along to conclusion, right? So 2 more printers. Meanwhile, our friend, you know, our current sees this approval came in from James. And then he could open it up and take a look at it, just like it did. Click here, open it up, and then he or she, whatever AA is, would show up as a, this would come up. You see, if you don't believe me, just watch. So here we go. We're opening it up from the bot, right? Blah, 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 blah. Number 174, right? So let's close that. And then we go to the back end here. Oops, wrong one. If we go to the all purchase requests right here, you see that's the same one that opens from the bot or from the back end. It gives a lot of freedom there. See 174, right? And they know what they're buying and all that stuff. So it's all good, huh? So that's one way that the bot can be used as a way of doing an approval process. Now, if there's multiple levels of approval, that could be put into place. There could be all kinds of other things. And one other cool trick on this is that you can actually send a message to a channel here in Teams, if you're using Teams for that purpose. The purchasing people can be informed. Now, you could send them a text. You could send them a message. Usually, you can send, most common is sending an email. But also, if they're working in a Teams channel, they're getting a purchase request right here, and they know it's been approved, and then they can start working on it from there. So it's a way of keeping everybody informed in an easy way inside of Teams if they want. If you prefer to use SharePoint backend, you can. And I'll dig a little bit into our application because this is similar to our application. So we're talking about a pre-built purchase application that you can put in place and have use a bot with it, use email, use text. So however you want to, you know, details of this, what vendors and all that, that can be adjusted and configured for your particular situation. So what we're looking at here is that there could be a dashboard. You know, we have many features inside our application. So this is our tiles and dials and our reports and everything show up, and you have a way of looking at our you know, everything that's going on in the back end, even though in the front end the users are just engaging with a bot or sending an email or creating an item in SharePoint, whatever way it works, they can come in and see all the work's done. But in the back end, you're seeing all this processes, and you're keeping good track of the situation. Now, one other thing, I want to show something else here, and then you'll see another way of using the same kind of system. So if we're here in the again, inside of the bot, come back here, there you are. Okay, so we'll go back to the Nitro Bot here. And he wants to know my PTO request. Oops, let me fix that, sorry. My PTO, I got the catbot lock on, my PTO request. And I spelled it wrong. You actually can put in tag words that will account for the misspellings. I started doing that more often. It's kind of interesting. Well, here we go. My PTO request. There we go. My open request. View my open leave request. So he's asked for all these days off, and I don't know, it's May 5th he's asked for off. I guess he's in working. Cinco de Mayo. Hey, it's Cinco de Mayo. It's time to go out and get some tacos or burritos or something. That's okay. Got to focus on the webinar. That'll be after the webinar, but Cinco de Mayo, tell you, that's great. Okay, so what am I doing here? Oh, so he's looking at what request, you know, what's going on here. Well, it's the same in the back end. Here's the back end system, May 5th off, right? So he's got this going on. Now, one interesting trick about this is that This system, this request management system, has another way to enter in tickets. You can come right here and make a leave request here. So what we're doing here by business process automation is engaging and empower users by giving them a variety of ways to engage with the system. This is what we call omni-channel support. They can use email, they can use text, they can use the back-end SharePoint, they can use a portal like this, they can use a bot. So anywhere, any device, and usually people, of course, settle on one. Maybe somebody's very familiar with Teams and they want to do it through Teams. Somebody wants to come to this portal and they want to go create a leave request through the portal. Some people want to go to the back-end SharePoint. We give you all those options, very, very available to you. So this person decides he wants to ask for some time off next week. Let's see, let's just call it PTO week. Just call it PTO, I think will work if I remember right. So he's gonna come up with no, I guess I gotta do that. Okay, submit leave request right here. He's gonna submit a leave request. And it's gonna come up and ask, okay, what do you want? Well, now I want May 11 and 12 off. Admin account, reason, let's say it's earned leave. Again, this could be, modified for your own particular purposes. So it start on the 11th and go to the 12th. And description could be whatever, time, need a vacation. I don't know. Whatever you want to put there, right? The person can do it right from a mobile phone. That's the important thing about this. It could be mobile phone, it could be desktop, whatever. So you're going to submit it. It's going to show up in the back end again, right here, right? The person wants, what did they say? May 11th and 12th, right? Yeah. Now May 11th showed up right here. Now, the same thing could have been done through the portal right here, and it would show up in the back here. So it gives like all these different ways of coming into the same place to help automation. Now, automation, when this comes in, there's processes that run, our Nitro workflows, and that's what I'll get into Nitro Studio in a moment and show you what runs on the back end to make all this power happen and automation go on. That's like our second element. Our first element we talked about was engaging and empower users, omnichannel support, using bots, portals, text, email, any which way you want it. You can accelerate automation by giving users all kinds of different ways to engage with the system, whatever works for them, any device. A lot on mobile these days, the back-end SharePoint, tablets even, this all works for whatever application we're doing, whether it's a help desk, whether it's, like I was talking about, incident management or request management, kind of what we're focused on right here, change control, whether it's the document, management, or whether it's the tracking and managing assets, and all that can be done. This is just one example, of how we're opening up the door for automation in Office 365 Teams and SharePoint. And then the workflow, the second element is the workflows that run when a request comes in or an incident comes in or change management comes in or any one of those things, or perhaps an asset needs to be maintained, any one of those triggers, it's going to start a variety of workflows that have a lot of different ways they can go depending on what needs to be done. And our whole system is very flexible in that regard. So what happens with May 11th and 12th? Well, somebody has to approve it. And then when it gets approved, the person will get back a notice that it's been approved and then go and be able to go from there. And then again, it could forward it over to an HR, whether through email or to a Teams channel, that this person has been approved for a leave off next week. So everything's being very automated and simplified so that people can get their work done and be more productive and streamlining the operations through using the systems that Microsoft gives us in Office 365 and our Nitro Studio component here. So what we're going to do now is dig a little bit into that. So let me clarify something that I mentioned earlier, but I think it needs a little clarification. We have ready to go, out of the box business applications. If you look on our where did I put in our website over here? Our website. We have this business. Come back here. Business applications, we have a number of business applications that we have ready to go right out of the box. And this will, if you want an easy business process automation, you just want to put a help desk or asset management or project management, work order management, equipment tracking, a portal, purchasing, contract management, request management into place. If you want to put any of those in place, we have them ready to go right in Office 365, GCC, GCC High, or in SharePoint on premises. That's one way to go about business process automation. Put this in place, ready to go. It's like you already have the house built, now you just have to decorate it. You know, there's a little bit of tweaking here and there, you know, to get it where you want it to be. You know, everybody's situation, like I said, in purchasing is a little bit different, contract management a little bit different, help desk. So we have this edges of configuration. It's just like I say, you buy the house, you decorate it. The NITRO Studio is a very powerful forms and workflow platform. We developed it over the many years. We originally started it to build our own applications, but then we realized it could stand on its own because a lot of people came to us and said, we want to build our own solutions because not everything fits and not every solution fits into these categories over here, you know, into these kind of common core business applications. There's a lot that can be built yourself using NITRO Studio. It's a lot. So it's kind of like, okay, here's where the house is already built. You decorate it. Here's where you know, you get the kit, I guess, and put it together. You know, I mean, it's not quite as complex as building a house. Another analogy I use is like you go to a restaurant, you order from the menu, you get the soup or dinner, maybe you add some salt and pepper, some salsa. Since it's Cinco de Mayo, might as well add some salsa, slices of avocado, whatever. Sounding good, doesn't it? Anyway, you can start here and get like a you know, you order from the menu and you get it, the person brings it to your table kind of thing, right? This is where you're going to go out to the store and buy the ingredients, put it together and make your own, you know, make my own tacos, right? Here, make my own burrito. Right here, and this is like, you know, you go to the taco truck and get it over here, and here's where you buy the ingredients, the tortillas and everything, and put it together, a can of beans or something, put it together yourself. So it's kind of that same idea, you know. This is, and the advantage of this, of course, with using NITRO Studio is it can be very customized to whatever particular your needs are. If it doesn't fit into one of these categories, you can build whatever you need, and there may be some process or integrations that need to happen. There may be some kind of extended ability, and also there's kind of like, if you're in the citizen developer mindset, kind of fun to build stuff like this. We got forms, workflows, reports, all these different components, teams integration. It's like it's kind of creative and sort of inspiring to you know, to build your own stuff. And it's just like, you know, you can buy soup from a can, or you can go, you know, make your own, and you know, it's like the same kind of idea, right? So this is what we offer also. So let's take a look at NITRO Studio. Over here, it's teams and info. We use it for info path replacement. That's what this is all about over here. So let's take a look at it on the back end. You can find it very interesting. So here's Request Manager, or we're looking at our purchase request system. We're looking over here at an IT help desk system, perhaps. All these systems, or these are the pre-built ones, but if you want to build, okay, let me put it this way. These are pre-built. We have NITRO Studio running in them. If you did want to customize it, you can. But if you want to use it right out of the box, you can too. But there's other applications that are built, build it yourself. So one thing I did just for this demo over a period of time, just to showcase some things, I built like an access request system. So maybe you have a need for an access request system or any kind of particular process. You're replacing info path form. This is where, you know, it's good if we can talk one-on-one and say, what is your particular need and how can we help you meet that need? How can we help you automate that process? Is it using one of our applications makes the most sense, or is it getting NITRO Studio and putting in place? Now, if you get NITRO Studio at, say, tenant-wide or farm-wide, you can build as many applications as you want. We don't have, you know, like some of these other guys, they have limits on the forms and workflows and how many they, you know, charge you for this, for that. We decided not to go with that model at all. With our NITRO Studio, if you use it for the tenant or farm-wide license, you can build as many forms and workflows as you like on it. If you want to have like 15, one company we have has like 50 different sites for different departments, you know, using NITRO Studio with different, you know, basically like variations of help desk, you could say, on it, you know. So it's really Yeah, it gives you a lot of power to automate not just one process, but multiple processes at your organization. So again, there's that pre-built application idea where you have our stuff with our expertise and our many years of experience giving you this pre-built application that you can take and run with. And a lot of times that's very convenient, right? That's what you want to do, it's there, and it's got the power of our long history and experience in it. Or you can build your own from NITRO Studio, and that's also another direction where you can start getting any kind of solution you need there. Some people have maybe 50 or 100 or even more InfoPass forms or access forms or Lotus Notes, and they want to replace them, and they get going on it, and then they start building it. So here's an access request system I put together. It'll open up, look what the form looks like. The form it's kind of like a mishmash of stuff because I was trying to show, a lot of different, it's like a showcase thing, how you kind of dress it all up in a lot of different ways. But here you have like our buttons. These are custom action buttons that you put on the form, and they do various, this is a lot of automation goes on here because simply pressing that one button runs a whole bunch of stuff in the back end. So it makes it very, very easy to automate and streamline operations like that once you have it in place. And we have different ways of showing the UI, like priority shows high. You can list associated tasks with different colors. Many different ways you can do these this access request system, or any kind of system, I really should say. Let's go look at a new form here, a new access request, and see all the kind of fun and games you can have with this. So here we go. This is where it gets creative. I kind of enjoy this aspect of, and of course, we're application builders, so I guess that's what we would do. We would enjoy this, right? So here is, a new form, just to show you some possibilities. So let's look at this closely now. If you say I'm going to add a type of access request, what I did here is I wanted to show you the dynamic element of it. See how, because I clicked add, it now changed and added this. It displayed this section of the form so that you can enter that information. If that information is not needed, like you're just modifying it, then you don't need that bit of information there, right? And the same idea if I choose employee or contractor. Well, employee, I can just put the name in and people picker kind of thing here, or I can go contractor, and now when the contractor is pulling from a related list that I have and pulling in the information right here. See, there's a contractors list over here. So just showing you different ways that this form can be very, very geared to what it only asks the questions, only require you to fill out the information according to what you're doing. So if you're just adding a access request, or you're modifying an access request, or you're, whatever you're doing, revoking, that kind of thing. Now, the workflows run behind it. So if I did say it's a temporary access, it would, what's this? It would, let's go over here. Anyway, what it would do is as it got close to the 19th, it would notify people that, or even past the 19th, that you need to revoke this access. That would be a workflow that runs behind it. Now let's look at some of the other things you can do here. If you decide, right now you see there's no SQL tab up here. If I go to database and I go to SQL, it's going to pop up an SQL, 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 tab, and then that's going to be filled in. We already know who the manager is, and the person's going to get a notice that you need to either approve it or do the mechanics to actually implement this type of access on it. The requester fields automatically filled in from Active Directory. We looked at SQL tasks. There could be related tasks back and forth. What tasks are related to this? There could be an e-signature form here. There could be a different tab laid out kind of nicely like this. There could be tables, all kinds of interesting things. So let's look at how this is constructed and what's going on behind the scenes. So now I'm digging into this NITRO Studio citizen developer kind of thing, right? So here we go. Here's the access request system. Here's our NITRO Studio. And with this, you would be able to build any kind of solution you want inside of Office 365 or SharePoint on premises. Very, very powerful, very, very useful tool. I got to say that I've looked at Power Platform, I've looked at other ones, and this I think far outpaces what they do there. And We put a lot of development effort into this. We get a lot of feedback. We do workshops on it every once or twice a month. We have training available, documentation. So this is, kind of the heart of what we do here. So let's look at the Nitro forms. We'll look at the access requests, demo environment I set up. I hope I'm not making it sound like only you can do access requests. I'm trying to use this as an example. I mean, you can do anything, any kind of request, any kind of incident tracking, document management, change management, asset tracking. This is just an example. You're collecting information into a form and then using that to drive workflows forward. So here, you see how this forms designer gives you a lot of ability to create the form how you want it, add actions to it if you want, do different settings and advanced features if you want to do custom JavaScript, CSS, and all that kind of stuff. You can do that. You can look at it in different modes, such as desktop, tablet, and mobile. You can do fields that are, this, for instance, this could be shown only on desktop, only on tablet and mobile, or both. So we're giving you an enormous amount of control that we developed over the years on how the forms can look and how they behave. And one other interesting aspect to this that gets us into workflows here is that there's these custom action buttons also can be added in different places. You can also replace the ones down the bottom. I mean, many things you can do. If there's something specific you're interested, can it do this? Can it do that? Let us know. I mean, one way we developed this a lot is we worked with InfoPath replacement over the last 5 years or more. I don't know, however long people have been working with it, and said, well, InfoPath can do this. Can you do that? InfoPath can do that. Power Apps can do this. Can you do? So we worked our form design, and we continue to have the functionality that you need, and it's been told to us that you need. It's really a ground up kind of implementation. So let's look at the what's going on with these actions. So there's an action called escalate, and I can open up the custom action part of Nitro Studio, and now we're looking at the custom action called escalate, and this is in the old. Well, we moved. I'll show you the designer in a minute. We moved from a legacy designer to a. You'll see the difference in a second here. So this is what escalate does. It queries a list, it updates an item, it sends an email, it updates other items. Whatever you need it to do, it's going to do, because you have the enormous amount of actions you can add. Let me show you what I mean. Here's another. I want to go to the designer. I kind of preferring that. We came out with that maybe a year or so ago, 6 months. I don't know. Time flies, doesn't it? So this is how we're doing our custom actions and workflows now. Isn't this cool? It's really great. So what you do is you have, when you press the button escalate, or whatever name of the action you give it, it doesn't really matter, it's going to run. It's going to do these things like this. You can make this kind of fancy around like that. One other thing you can do here is add a gateway. So you can take in 2 different directions, right? So now you're going to go over and add another action over here, like maybe you want to update a list item. So you just create. If anybody's into this stuff, you have a lot of fun with this. It's kind of interesting. So each one of these, based on certain conditions here, certain conditions, such as who the logged in user is, or some condition on the ticket itself, it's going to go either one path or the other, path A, path B, depending on such things as the status is so and so. Any kind of any field on the ticket, all these different conditions. You can have multiple conditions, like 3 or 4 or 5 different conditions, or you can just set it for certain users, certain groups, and then it will go off in whatever direction it applies according to how you set up the logic of it. So it could be, if the status is approved, go here. If the status is denied, go here. If the price is above $1,000, go here. If the price is below $1,000, go here. And then you could do more branching and get all these workflows together. Well, what can you do if you do the branching? Well, you can add a list item, you can update a list item, you can delete a list item, you can execute a JavaScript, you can send email, you can send text. That happens a lot when you want to notify people that it's been approved. You can upload, you can invoke a web service. This is a big one for integration with third-party systems using REST APIs and whatnot. You can upload a document, you can invoke a workflow, and that could be any kind of workflow. It can be a SharePoint workflow, one of our Crow Canyon workflows, or a Power Automate workflow if you wanted to do that. So you see, it's like we're not, we can work in conjunction with Power Platform if you're using that Power Automate workflow. So maybe you want to put that in here and specify a particular Power Automate workflow here that's going to run, or one of our workflows, Crow Canyon workflow, Power Automate workflow, whatever. You can send a Teams a message. You can create a Teams channel. You can post an adaptive card. Boy, this little statement belies what really is there. When you post an adaptive card, there's so much you can do. That's what a lot of our bot does, is use the workflow to post the adaptive card, so the person has the choice whether to approve, deny, or whether to make a comment, or whether to pick up a ticket and assign it to him or herself, or assign it to someone else. You can also launch a URL. You can invoke Azure functions. You can parse an a particular kind of CSV file. All that can be done. And I even skipped over generate document, didn't I? Generate document, query a list, invoke custom action. So there's a lot of things, like generate document is used quite often. Like say the document's been approved, it's been revised, it's ready to go. So then you can generate the document and distribute it. So this is just one part of the whole Nitro Studio. We're just digging into custom actions. Nitro workflows work similarly like custom actions, but they're not invoked by a button. They're invoked by some timer or scheduled element like that. We have our reporting, we have portals, we have advanced approvals where there's multiple layers or different geographic locations or currency costs, and any kind of thing that gets very complex approvals, we can put that into place. We can affect the branding of the website, whether you use modern, classic UI. You want to put a portal in place. Custom actions went over a little bit. Email and text sync, where emails come in or texts come in, and they can be used to update or create a new ticket or a request. We have an email manager, an ID column, linked items, list formatting, list rollup, list search, list view, print manager, very powerful, tiles and dials. And if you're in Office 365, we have AI services, bots, modern UI, web parts, and Teams integration. So you see there's, this Nitro Studio is no slouch. I mean, this is an amazing tool that we use to build, that people use to build really robust real world solutions to meet their needs and accelerate their business process and their business process automation, which leads to more streamlined operations, increased productivity, better use of time and resources. All this is very much a benefit of why we say business process automation is equivalent to business profit acceleration. Now, if you're a nonprofit, what difference does that make? Well, you can serve better service. We put it this way: if you're in government or nonprofit, you can better serve your members or your citizens through business process automation. So we're here to, preach the, the gospel, I guess you could say, of business process automation on Office 365, SharePoint, and Teams as a way to accelerate your company, whether it's a profit or nonprofit, with government or not. We do a lot with government, so we understand that the need to provide better services, use better use of time, energy, taxpayer dollars. Also, it makes the employees happier too, because they're, if they make a request, it gets fulfilled. If they have an incident, it gets fixed. If there's a problem, it's identified, the root cause, and then there's a process to drive continuous cycle of improvement. If it's managing assets and equipment, then that's very, very good to keep everything maintained and up to date, and it really saves the company a lot of time and effort if you know where that laptop is, it didn't walk out the door, what you have in inventory, so you don't order more. A piece of equipment needs maintenance at such and such time, and you generate tasks, a recurring task, in order for that to be fulfilled. Or if you're doing document management and you want to have policies, procedures, or guides or whatever, and keep them updated and current, and make sure people read them, because attestation is one part of that too, where people are given tasks to read the newly updated documents, and they have to attest or verify, same words, that they're doing that. Now, what can this be used for? It can be used in all those different departments I talked about, any department, IT, HR, IT for service desk and asset maintenance, HR for vacation requests and onboarding and benefits, facilities for managing work orders and equipment, administration for innumerable things, administration. I don't, I'm trying, and then any industry too. So what we'd like to do is, and I could dig deeper and deeper and do a webinar on each aspect of this. So the applications themselves, the Nitro Studio, and also, and people some of my company persuaded me not to go in that direction, but I could do a whole thing in the theory of BPA and business process automation and how it all works, forms-based, process-driven, and get into the theoretical aspects of it. It's really a fascinating subject, and it's all about how we, as working in companies or organizations, can work better and just do there's a lot of remote people nowadays. How do you keep the remote people on board? How do you keep them engaged? And Crow Canyon is pretty much remote. We have people all over, like I said, California, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Idaho, where else? I don't know, Australia, India. So we have people all over the place, and we keep in touch, using these resources of Teams, of our applications, of our Nitro Studio to bind it all together, tie it all together, and we'll be able to work together efficiently and effectively. And we know that happens at many other organizations, many other customers we work with to make that happen. So we're here to help you. And one way is, if you're at this webinar and you're interested and you found this interesting or you want to explore it more, we'd really like to talk one-on-one. That's where we get a lot of satisfaction out of doing that, hearing your story, what you're running into, what we can do to help you out, whatever industry you're in, whatever location, and see what your needs are, what you're running up against. It's always fascinating. I've been in IT over probably 30 years now, and started way back when. Before even network, one of my first jobs was doing local area networks, designing what's that called? CNE, Novell systems. So I go way back. So it's always been fascinating how the technology is changing and how people are using it differently. And now we're really looking at Office 365 and SharePoint as great vehicles for business process automation. We're expanding into Teams. And we're doing a lot of integration with third-party systems now. I think people are seeing Office 365 not necessarily as a standalone entirely by itself, though it certainly can be, but tying it into ERP systems or financial systems or CRMs or whatever other databases out there pulling information in. And we do a lot of that with our Nitro Studio's integration with external databases and web services and Azure functions and things like that. So it's quite fascinating to build this stuff. So what we do is we have, you get in touch with us, you can email sales@crowcanyon.com, you go to our website. Where's our website? There's I think they put contact us all over the place here, so hopefully you won't miss one of those. There's contact us, get in touch, request a demo. It's marketing, right? You gotta, give people ways to get in touch or just, talk about that. Now, James, is he on? I don't know if James was joining me on this, but let me look if there's were there any questions or?
No, I didn't see any come through, actually. I think you explained things over very well.
All right, good. Well, there's a lot to cover, and there's a lot more in depth I can go in each one. As you know, James, Nitro Studio in itself is you do workshops like once or twice a month on that, right? So a lot can go on there. We do training for it. But also, if you're interested in our applications right out of the box, the help desk, the work order management, the asset tracking, the purchase orders, contract management, request management, all that, we can get you going on that. And if you're interested in the Teams and bots, we'd love to hear from you, because that's an area that we're really starting to break out more into mainstream. And we really like to hear what people are, what their users are saying, what their experience is, and how we can make that better and better. So I think that's where we'll end this webinar a little earlier, give some people some time, and go from there. We hope to hear from you. Any comments, James, on anything?
No, I think it's all good. Just certainly check it out. I think the InfoPath replacement options with what we offer are great. If you're using that for business process automation, this is the next generation of that business process automation.
That's right, and we're doing a lot with mobile now, keeping applications, Teams, mobile. So a lot there going on. All right, well, thank you everyone for attending. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this and hear what Crow Canyon has to offer. And hopefully you'll take the next step, get in touch, and find out how our software and how we're using Office 365, Teams, SharePoint, whether in the cloud or in the Office in the on-premises, to help you accelerate your your business process automation and drive you modernize your operations. Okay. Well, thank you again for attending, and we'll be sending out a recording of this webinar to everybody, and we hope to hear from you. Thank you very much. Have a great Cinco de Mayo. Go get some tacos or something. Chips and salsa, guacamole. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it, James? Guacamole.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, it sure does. All right. Have a good one. All right. See ya. Bye bye.